What's up, everybody? Back with me, Hafiz. I'm an English tutor from HZad Education, and today I'm going to show you one of the best ways to answer the IELTS reading section, specifically for the list of heading type of question. Now, before we go any further, I have addressed some of these methods in great details previously. So if you have not seen that, please feel free to check out one of the live stream available. In this session specifically, I'm just going to do a quick recap on how that method can be done. Okay, so you can already see a sample question in front of me here, and we are going to immediately do two things, right? Number one, we are actually going to see how we can check our answer first thing. Why? Because there is a sample answer there. You can see here, there's paragraph B, and the answer is the third heading. So we're going to check whether that is actually correct or not, or more specifically, to ensure us that that is the correct answer. And then after that, we're going to basically implement the same thing, but to find the answer to the next question, which is question 14. All right. So let's start immediately. So let's immediately jump to paragraph B. Now I'm going to zoom in just a little so that you guys can see clearly. Hopefully that is clear enough. So let's take a look at paragraph B, and the answer is the third heading. Now, the third heading says how a global challenge was met. Now, one of the first thing that you need to do is not read the entire paragraph immediately. One thing that I always recommend you to avoid is not forcing yourself to memorize the entirety of the reading passage. The reading section is to test you on your ability to find pinpoint information rather than the knowledge on the subject of that passage. So do not read the entire thing. Immediately jump into the heading, and we can see that the heading for paragraph B is how a global challenge was met. Now, one of the things that I constantly mention is lexical resource, your ability to know a lot of synonyms, right? And identify keywords. So it's the same trick here. You have to see what words are being used in that heading. So the most obvious one is the word global. When you take a look at the options in any questions in the reading section for IELTS, there's always at least one keyword that's quite easy to identify, whether that is in the form of a synonym or even an explicit, like an exact same word. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you get that. And that's the first thing that you have to identify. And then the rest will follow easily. So when we say global, of course, we mean worldwide, like it covers the entire world. It's not specifically focusing on just one country, obviously. Now, if you take a look at paragraph B, you can try and immediately check whether the word global is actually there in one way or another. So let's take a quick look, right? And here is where your ability to skim and scan will benefit greatly. So during the Industrial Revolution and population explosion of the 19th, 20th century, yada, 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 the demand of water was dramatically, yada, yada, yada. And if you quickly read, the food production has kept pace with soaring population mainly because of the expansion of artificial irrigation, possible growth, for one-fifth of electrical general worldwide. Ah, there we go. Right? There is a word that has basically the same meaning as global, right? Now, if you kind of rewind a little bit in the paragraph, you do also see like hundreds of millions of people. Now, why did I not highlight that? Because you want to find the word that is as close as possible, right? Hundreds of millions of people, that might still be in one area, in one country, or in one continent. It might not be a global thing, right? So we need to make sure that to go through the entire paragraph and see if we can find a word that gets as close as possible to the word global. If we cannot, that means your answer is probably wrong. But since we can, right? So far, number 3 is good. Now, what other words can we identify in that heading? How, of course, right? How, of course, it's a very specific question. right? But here it's used as a statement that refer to a method. So you want to look for a description of a method, right? You don't even need to care too much about what the method is or what kind of method is being described, right? Or what this description looks like. You just need to make sure it's a description of a method of some kind. So if you take a look, because I did the skimming and scanning in the beginning, right? The demand for unprecedented construction of tens of thousands of monumental engineering projects designed to control floods, protect clean water supplies, and provide water for irrigation and hydropower, what brought great benefits to hundreds of millions of people. So that sounds like at the very least a process, right? That sounds like a how. All right. And if you go like, well, how do I make sure that is a how? That's something that you do need to practice. That is a how. That's clearly a how. That's describe some sort of project and implementation that they did, right? And then if you want to continue, we already got two words covered. You can continue just one more to be safe. So we want to look at a challenge, so something difficult, something that they face, right? Because there's also the word met. We can actually try to do that together. So again, because I skimmed and scanned already, industrial revolution explosion of the 19th, the demand for water rose dramatically. So that is a challenge, of course, right? That indicates clearly something that they had to deal with. So all of those three words, we've identified are covered in that paragraph. We do see all those three being described in one shape, way, or form. So that's basically an indication that your answer is absolutely correct. Like there is no mistake with your answer. Now, to prove my point, let's do question 14, and that is paragraph A, right? So with paragraph A, you want to do the same thing. You want to skim and scan, but here it's quite difficult for you to kind of memorize all these headings, right? So if you want to start with the reading passage, that's fine. But what do you need to look for? That's the question. That's the big question. Right? You want to be able to understand the main topic first. What is the main topic, or at the very least, the topic sentence? So usually, if you're lucky, that is going to be in the first paragraph. But with IELTS, it's never that easy. So you want to make sure you skim and scan the entire paragraph and look for a consistent topic throughout. Now, if we quickly read this, the history of human civilization is entwined. So, and highlight, all the words that you feel are quite important, right? Or words that you feel will play a huge part in that paragraph. That's it. Is entwined in the history of, again, human civilization, history, the ways we have learned to manipulate water resources. As sounds gradually expanded, water was brought increasing. Okay, so water has been repeated. Remote success, sophisticated engineering efforts such as dams and aqueducts at the height of Roman Empire. So this is talks again civilization. Nine major systems. So there's definitely something to do with water. Layout of pipes well built. So this is talking about the system of water. Like there's sewers, there's pipe supplied the occupants with Rome with as much water per person as is provided in many parts of the industrialized world today. So yeah, that's something to do with water supply in a system to kind of make sure that the water is sufficient. Something along that line. Now, there are a couple of recurring keywords that you can try to utilize, basically, right? Number one is the word water. So number two is the word ancient, right? Human civilization, any of those sort of kind. So immediately go to the heading and look for those at least, right? So the first one, scientists call for revision of washing. Nope, not that one at all. Reduce water use. No, there's water there, but it's not talking about anything about system, civilization, irrigation system. Okay, there is system here, so that might be not wrong. This is a thought process. Environment and environmental effects didn't really talk about environment, so we're gonna cross that out. The financial cost of recent technology improvements. Financial cost isn't there, right? We did not see any word regarding finance. Again, it's about pinpointing the keyword. Relevance to health. Health, not exactly. Addressing concern over increasing population. Nope, not concern, not increasing population. Surprise downward trend in demand for water. Okay, there's demand for water. Surprising downward trend, can't really tell, so we'll leave it open for now. The need to raise standards. Okay, this is quite vague standards, but the need here is questionable. Okay, we can leave that open if you're not sure. A description of ancient. Okay, there's ancient. Oh, and there's also water supplies here, right? So this one looks good. All right, now that you've identified at least one, so let's do that again. One, two, three. There's three possibility. So how do you refine that and pinpoint the most correct answer? Of course, you take a look at all the words available in each of those headings. So the first one, irrigation system, fall into disuse. All right, there's actually no disuse. We actually missed that. So if you have successfully enhanced that ability to just be able to identify irrelevant keywords, you can pinpoint that very quickly, no problem. Okay, so that one is wrong. So now we're left with two. So a surprising downward trend. Okay, downward trend. Do you see any words that says downward or a trend that decline, etc.? No, it's actually sophisticated. So that's the complete opposite. So that's wrong. Okay, a description of ancient water supply. Okay, this is definitely a description. Ancient, yes, you can see here history of human civilization, history, Roman Empire, all of those ancient. Does it talk about water supplies? Yes, absolutely. So all of those are checked in. Then the answer is the last one. So that's how you do a list of headings question for IELTS. Hopefully that helped. That all of the things that I explained help you guys, right? So please feel free to leave a comment if you still have any questions. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.